Hey everybody, this is Daniel with Career RevGen, and we have a new Friday video for you guys covering common revenue management mistakes. So these are mistakes that I see that crop up from time to time that I think are really common and mostly avoidable. So let's start with the first one. The first one is being too restrictive. So the bullet point that I have here is sometimes the multi-night demand is not there. So be sure to test different strategies, but also give yourself time to react. So the screen cap that I have here, this is a mistake that I made a couple weeks ago, actually. So we had a big football game that came into town. And basically what happened was I left that minimum length of stay restriction. I had a 2-night stay restriction here on the 31st, and I left it on for too long, and we didn't hit the sellout. I only removed that length of stay restriction about 7 days prior. Always make sure that you're testing out different strategies, but still give yourself time to react. So let's move on to the next point, following a competitor. So if you're a revenue manager, you've probably heard this a million times or something similar to it. We like to be $5 under the Hampton, or we like to be $5 under the Marriott. So you've got to ask why. Why is it, why would you ever want to do that? You're now following another revenue manager strategy, or even worse, you're following a price optimizer. So I included this little rate shop here. This has a Hilton competitor, an IHG competitor, and then I threw this one in here just for fun. This crazy revenue manager. But this isn't too far off with what you might see in a real market. So if you're always $5 under the Hilton, these are very, very volatile rates, and the reason they're volatile is because a lot of these Hilton properties and these IHG properties, they use a price optimizer, which doesn't have that human touch. So always keep that in mind. This is always a big red flag if you hear a GM or a director of sales say this. Make sure you're always questioning. Okay, so why do we want to be $5 under the Hilton? Okay. The third point that I have here is not playing with the OTAs. Always play with the OTAs. So regardless of your hotel service level, there are always going to be times where you need that occupancy boost. It's 2016. There's no more stigma with being on the OTAs. If you feel that the OTA commission is too high, well, then it's on you. Negotiate a lower commission rate. And I included this screen cap here because this is the Ritz-Carlton. Obviously, this is a super nice hotel, and they're on Expedia. So really, there's no excuse for you to not be on Expedia, Booking.com, and really just utilizing all of those channels. And also, too, this is a pretty funny discount, $10. Oh, $579 off of $589. All right, so the fourth point is cranking up rate with nothing but group on the books. This one is super common, and it's one that you should definitely avoid. So if you see this business on the books report here, you'll notice that we had a pretty dynamic week here. We had close to a sellout here on this Thursday. We're starting the day here with more than 90% occupancy. And you can see here, over here on the right, we have this rate shop. And, we've been pushing rate a little bit here this week. And you'll notice that there's not too much going on. We're still sub 50% occupancy for the next 2 weeks or so. And then we hit this Friday, the 22nd, and we have 72 rooms sold already. What's important to note is that's all group. So why have I not pushed rate here? Well, it's because it's all group. So over the past couple of days, we've had 0 transient pickup. So that's why I'm continuing to leave this rate low. So I feel like most revenue managers would see this occupancy percentage here and just crank rate up. And I disagree. I think that's a pretty common mistake. All right, and this last example is overpricing your hotel. So this is a really easy one. This rate shop that I did here, this is for a music festival that's coming up in the spring in a nearby area. And you can see here there's a Super 8 that's priced themselves at $425. I have not manipulated these prices. This is what they're advertising. And then there's a Renaissance hotel that's at $469. So if you're at the point where you're already paying $400 plus, I think you'd go ahead and spend the extra $40 to $45 to stay at a 4-star hotel as opposed to a Super 8. So this is a pretty good example, I think, of overpricing your hotel. Kind of know your service level. I don't think that this $425 necessarily very reasonable. I can almost guarantee that as you get closer to arrival, this hotel will probably have to lower rate. But not always. But then again, I think that this is definitely overpriced here. All right. And this is just a thanks for watching slide here. I do want to include a link. I will put this on the video description. And it's of a blog that I wrote a couple months back about mistakes and event revenue management, which I think you guys will find interesting. So, all right. Thanks for your time.